Hello, it's Karen the Weekend Craftaholic, and today I've got a very different video for you. I thought I would just give you a quick overview of the top 10 essentials that I think you need to start paper crafting. It's Fiskars trimmer. I put off buying a trimmer for so long because I thought, oh, so expensive, and it was about $30 or whatever. Because I thought I didn't need it. I thought I'm fine, I've got scissors, I've got a ruler and whatnot. I can cut things straight. You realise you can't cut things straight unless you've got one of these. So this particular one has been with me from the start. I did have a few cheaper ones that didn't last very long. This one is my favourite, mainly because it does have the inches. I'm still old school, I work in inches, but you've got your centimetres as well. It's a bit more of a safe spacer because it does retract down, and these blades are replaceable, so easy enough to keep this going and replace it. The only thing I would say this makes this stand out from any others, I hope you can see this kind of wire guide, and that shows you your cutting line. So although you've got this here as well, this is where I think this stands out from the rest of them, because where you see that line is where you cut. Now I do have other trimmers. For example, this is a combo with a scoreboard, and I've got my line where it cuts, but I find it's not as accurate. It really isn't as accurate. I've got a Cricut one which is the same. It definitely does glide, but I keep going back to this because this little metal wire really does show me where I'm cutting. So that is the first thing that I'm going to touch on. Whilst we're talking all things cutting, I can't go past the here we go. Some people have a rotary cutter, particularly if you're sewing. I've got heaps for that, but this Tim Holtz, this is another paper trimmer. So if you've got a cutting mat, you normally buy these in a set, right? I'm going to put some links in the description to my Amazon storefront where you'll see all of these listed. But yeah, if you've got a ruler, you know, this is so easy to cut. Let me just show you. You obviously cut through the mat. But with this, you know, you don't have to just cut in straight lines. You can cut whichever way you want. The times I usually use this is when I'm trying to do things a little bit more delicate. So my paper trimmer is not going to cut this right. I could use my scissors, but what I do like about having this is having the precision of it. So it's easy then if you want to do a little cut around something. You know, let me just show you, for example. Maybe you're cutting things down. You've got that flexibility where, yeah, some people prefer scissors and some don't. So, you know, it's good to try all of these. Again, resisted buying a Tim Holtz because it was so much more expensive than some like generic ones, off-brand ones, but, which I did go with. But then, you know, they don't last. I think if you're going to buy these things, save up and get a good one that you know you're only going to have to buy once, because when you're buying multiple times for the same product, you know, it can be a bit disheartening. With this as well, it does come with replacement blades, so easy enough to replace this. And whilst we're talking about cutting, we've obviously got to talk about scissors. And yes, I am going to go with Tim Holtz again. I was crafting maybe 20 years before I got these. I saw a lot of YouTubers using them, but I was quite happy with the cheapo scissors I'd got until I got these and realised just how sharp they are. And yeah, I love the length of them. I do have the smaller ones as well. It just glides. It just goes like butter, you know. It's amazing. So I always have these on my desk for any project I'm doing. I do also have these little tiny ones, fussy cutting scissors if you like. We are memory keepers. These are really great for when you want to cut stuff out. You just keep your scissors in one place, move around your paper, and you get a nice little cut. These are, again, never had any problems with them not cutting. They've been as sharp as the day I got them. I've had these over 10 years. So scissors is the next thing you're going to need, definitely, for any kind of paper crafts. The other thing we can't live without when we're doing paper crafting is glue, because we're usually sticking things together, right? So I've got a heap to show you here. If you're lucky where you live, if you can get a hold of this one, go for it. This is my absolute favourite. Officeworks in Australia doesn't stock it anymore. I have seen a few places online, but they're super, super expensive. Recently though, if you're in Australia, Daiso do sell this little mini version. So it's by the same manufacturer, Kokohu, but it's obviously a lot smaller. So the big one is 16 meters. This one only goes to 6 meters. I love the fact that these were refillable, so I was just able to get the replacements inside. Some other brands do that as well. Some other brands do have refillable, but some just throw away, and I don't like to think of all that plastic waste. So I try and get one that is refillable with the glue tape. And you might think, well, why can't I just use normal liquid glue? This or these little glue pens are great. Some are permanent, some are temporary. You can see here, for example, the little blue dots that it gives. You can rub this off if you decide you put it in the wrong place. You can easily move it. Let me show you. It's just so precise in sticking things down. So it's so much quicker, less messier than a liquid glue. So these are my go-tos initially when I need to stick something together. Now, if I do need to use liquid glue, I absolutely love the Eileen's Original Tacky Glue. I think I developed an obsession for glue. I've got so many different kinds of glue that I've tried. Glue pens, all kinds of adhesives really, but this one I have found is absolutely amazing. It goes on, it's easy to control so you don't get too much of it. This one's running out now, but so I can do little dots, I can do a long line. So usually this is when I need a lot of coverage. Also, if I'm not sure on the placement, I like the fact that liquid glue, you can put it down, you can stick it down, and you can wriggle it about, get the perfect placement before you leave it. And this dries so quick. The glue is the one thing I would say definitely experiment with. Start with your cheapest and work your way up. Last thing I want to talk about with adhesives next on my list is double-sided adhesive. So I've got a few different styles here for you. I love these adhesive dots. These are different sizes. You just take them off the sheet, and they're double-sided. They're sticky on both sides. Again, great for putting papers together. If you do want that a bit of dimension, you can get these on a tape as well. So I really like this one. But if you're just sticking lots of things down, you maybe don't want to use a glue pen. When I run out of glue pens, this is what I normally go to. This is my next option. But stick on one side, then you've got to peel it off to then put something on top. I just feel these take a little bit longer. But if I'm using large cover areas, I will use these as well, and they do come in different thicknesses as well, as you can see. So different widths of those, I should say. And a lot of brands do these, and again, just start off cheap because it is just it is glue, but it is a basic. It's something that you can't really craft without. There's a huge selection, so just experiment when it comes to that. Obviously, these are my favourites that I'm talking about today, though. Now, the other thing we probably should have talked about before when we were looking at the cutting is having some kind of pen or pencil. I've done a video about this before, my end of year faves, but this Pentel Techniclick is my absolute favourite. I just love the way it writes. It's nice and fine. It does have an eraser on the end as well. It is mechanical, so you just literally click the button when you want more lead to come out. I just love it. I think this is my favourite pen. I always feel great using it. It's very lightweight. I don't get fatigue if I'm using it for a long time. It's got these little grippers here, and really quite affordable. I think it was less than $5, so, and that's Australian dollars, so it's really good value for these. The other very cheap product that I would recommend you get is a T-square ruler. If you're anything like me, I struggle to draw a straight line, but having this little ledge on the side of it, you know you're going to draw a straight line because this is lined up. Without that, and just using a normal ruler, you don't know if you were straight or not. So this is less than $5 again, so a nice basic that anyone can have in the craft room without blowing the bank, and it will make a difference, honestly, to your crafting if you're making cards and things, anything you want lined up. So these probably, I think these are maybe actually looking around, these are under $5, under $5, under $5. So a lot of these are not super expensive. I would save your budget for the things you need to last, like your scissors. You don't want to be replacing those because they stay with you forever, the tools. Things that you're going to run out of because they're disposable like these, then definitely stick to the cheaper side of things. Another product though that's under $5 and will stay with you a long time, like the T-square ruler, is some tweezers. So before you know it, you'll be dealing with lots of fiddly things, and having a set of tweezers makes life so much easier when you want to put them in placement. These were under $5. These are from Couture Creations. I've actually got a couple of them. They sell them in Spotlight, but I've not been able to find anywhere online that sell these particular ones. These are absolutely amazing from a gripping point of view. And again, tweezers are things that I've bought many of, and they either bend or they're just not very good, like closing together when you're holding things. You can go a bit fancier and have reverse tweezers, so if you're embossing and things, it's great to have these. These work the opposite way, so you squeeze them open to attach, and then you don't have to kind of put that pressure on. So these are good if you need to hold something for a while, for example embossing. So yeah, I use these very rarely, only when I'm embossing, to be honest. I think we're getting to the end of my list. I think I've only got one more thing left. I think I do, yes, my last one. Right, and my last but not least is having some kind of pickup tool. Now this one from Wear Memory Keepers is also a placement tool, so it's got this little kind of bit at the end where you can move things around, and if you need to, you know, unpick things, all that kind of jazz. And at this end it's got its little pickup tool, but you don't have to go crazy expense. This is one that I got free out of one of the Diamond Dots kits. You can use these as well, because this has got this wax at the end which still allows you to pick things up. Let me try and replicate for you, so you know it's easy enough to pick these up and then place them somewhere else. It's also got this little pointy bit at the end if you need it. I have got a Tim Holtz one, but if you're starting off, I wouldn't bother getting one of these, but I would get one of these. This jewel picker from Marvi was the first one I got, and I did really like it because it had two different sizes at the ends, at each end. But to be honest, I find that when I'm grabbing now, I'm just grabbing this cheap one. It seems sometimes when you pick up with the others, they drop the little gems or whatever it is you're doing, but this one, I hope you can hear it, is super sticky. Don't go crazy spending a lot of money on these, but I would say as you start to use lots of different embellishments with your crafting, you'll want something like this, because if you've got nails, it's hard to fiddle around with things. If you've not got nails, it's hard to fiddle around things as well and pick things up and put them where you want them. So that is it. That is my top 10. There are a lot of things we could go through. I did wonder if I should group them into kind of products, like my top 10 products in terms of like inks and embellishments and all that jazz, but I thought I would show you things that what I really do class as essential. These are the things I go to every time I paper craft, and they're always on my desk. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.